Time for expert picks presented by Applebee's. Our first game on this one for Week 11. It's the Jaguars at Detroit to take on the Lions. Pete, who do you have in this one? The Jaguars have been struggling a lot lately.
The Lions are coming off a bye. They're well rested. I think that's a good thing for them. They're in first place in the division. That's a good thing for them. The Jaguars are packing their bags, thinking about going on vacation. I love the Lions.
They already live at a vacation destination. They live in Jacksonville.
They're done. They want to get out of there.
The Lions are playing at home.
Look, when you play for a team and you know your coach is gone at the end of the year, discipline issues start seeping in. And we saw that yesterday when you saw Fowler push Osweiler. He was almost on the tarp and he pushed him out of bounds, got a 15-yard penalty. They have issues like that going on. The quarterback's not playing well. I like the Lions minus the 6.5.
How do they lose to a team that the quarterback threw for 99 yards?
Yeah.
I mean, that's how bad it was.
He had a long
That's
punt
not
return,
good.
a long punt return and a pick six.
Still can't run the football.
You like the Lions too?
Of course I like
Yes.
the Lions. Look, Matt Stafford is playing really good football
he
this
is.
season. Like 18 touchdowns, 5
Very quietly,
interceptions.
too.
Yes.
Quietly, and they've done a good job kind of building out around him, because if you look at him statistically speaking, they're not good on either side really in any category. It's essentially been him helping them win tight games, and he's been impressive. He needs to get more credit for the job he's done.
I agree.
The next game is a very, very interesting one. We just talked about Dallas Cowboys and Dak Prescott's hot hand. They're at 8-1, while the Dallas Cowboys host a very good Baltimore Raven team right now that's in that mix. Pete, who you got?
Particularly on defense. The young players on defense are growing up in Baltimore. Brandon Williams playing great football. Should be in the Pro Bowl. Hope he gets there. Tim Jernigan's playing good football. Mosley's playing good football. The rookie corner Young is playing really good football. This is going to be a tough challenge for the Cowboys. It's not going to be an easy game by any stretch. They come off thinking they're a great football team. You go to Pittsburgh and win. You got to get right back into it against a physical team. Give me the 7 in this game. I'll take the 7.
But not Baltimore outright, right?
No, I like the 7.
Okay, I'm with you because, look, this is the #1 rush defense. You talked about some of those young pieces. It's kind of interesting. You look at the Steelers, how their defense is performing right now versus the Ravens, and both of them really had to overcome the fact that Ed Reed, a once-in-a-generation player for the Ravens. Troy Polamalu, a once-in-a-generation player for the Steelers. And it seems like the Ravens and Ozzie Newsome, the job he's done drafting and bringing in players, they've done a better job kind of adjusting to life after Ed Reed. Now, maybe it helps that he's not coaching, but he's still kind of remained involved around Baltimore from what I understand. But as far as Troy Polamalu and the legacy that he left and everything else, how they struggle on defense right now, they haven't found a way to replace him, even with a lot of the guys they've drafted. But, again, you look at some of the wins Baltimore's had, though. Jacksonville, Cleveland twice, and they had 2 home wins. I want to say one versus Buffalo and then in Pittsburgh. Not exactly the best wins. I'm kind of curious. I think if Baltimore wins this game, it would say a lot about where the Ravens are at this standpoint.
Yeah, but the Cowboys haven't exactly beat up on a murderer's row of schedule.
It doesn't matter. They've only lost once, and they really could have won that. I think they'd be undefeated right now.
That was a very, very, very close loss to the Dallas Cowboys. Great point, Brady. And then our next one, almost a similar conversation.
Yeah.
The Philadelphia Eagles, they travel to take on the Seattle Seahawks. Now, Seattle coming off a huge win of New England, but favored by 6. Peter, what do you take it here?
This is a classic case of overreaction to what happens each week in the NFL. Look, they look great at New England.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson threw dimes all over the place. I'll give him credit for that. The defense, okay, but they get, they miss Michael Bennett in a big way. This is a long trip for the Eagles. You got a rookie quarterback on the road, but their defense is going to get after
I do. He's leading us there. He's egging us on.
The defense, look, the line in Seattle is bad, and Fletcher Cox was a monster on Sunday against Atlanta. I think they're going to get after Russell Wilson in this game. They're not going to win the game, but 6 points, I'll take them.
That's interesting. I mean, I think you might be right, because you look at the New England Patriots, defensively, if we're talking about the weakness of the Seahawks, it's been their offensive line. The New England Patriots don't have the best front 7.
No.
I mean, they got rid of Chandler Jones. Jamie Collins isn't there anymore, and you kind of started to see that effect. So there might be something to that. Look, I just think playing at Century Link, Seattle at home, they're worth 7 points to me, even as good as Philadelphia is up front. So in this case, I would still take Seattle right now. They're hitting all cylinders. Jimmy Graham's got involved. Who's going to cover him next?
Buffalo could have beaten them up in there a couple weeks ago.
Get out of here, dude. Look, at this point, they're starting to hit on all cylinders. They get Rawls back. They could really start running football and be scary.
Gives them a little dimension that,
he does as well.
Rawls doesn't give.
It's been running back by committee.
It finally feels like Jimmy Graham is finally in that offense to that point, having a fantastic season thus far.